Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
If you don't use advantage, slash your ears. If you don't use advantage, slash your ears. For a month it works with ease. Number one for killing fleas. And gentle for a little one like me. Advantage kills fleas really fast. A few drops on the neck will last. Ask my doctor for advantage for me, please.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 117 of Happened in the 90s. This is Matt G, one of your co-hosts. I'm here with Steve G. Steve, how you doing, bud?
I'm spectacular, Matthew.
So good to see you again. And we actually have a guest. Steve and I usually just like to do it solo dolo, just the dynamic duo. But we brought in just a heavy hitter, my lovely wife, Kendra.
Hi, thank you.
Hi. Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
She's in a different room. We don't hang out too much. We're married, but Steve's questioning that. But Kendra, welcome to Happen in the 90s. We love you. We love your podcast. Why don't you tell us about everything, Kendra, before we get started?
Well, I was born in April of 1997 to a mom that worked at a out.
Okay.
I'm the host of Crushgasm, the podcast that people come through like you guys, and you talk about a specific crush you had in your life. And I also do 2 blog posts about it, and you can find all of that at crushgasmpodcast.com. Pretty easy.
And you're all over other podcasts, and you
Yes, you
also
can.
help us to do our podcast website. I mean, this is a multi-talented woman, people.
Yes, I'm part of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcastnetwork.com, or just podcast network, and I have a website, idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com, and you can find other shows I'm in the network with, and we cover a lot of things, a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things on there. And we do drafts. Check those out Tuesday live on Facebook.
Nice.
What kind of drafts?
Oh, you can come on. You guys should come on one time. We draft things like Weird Al songs we just did, or TV moms, just things based on music. So this week we're going to be doing teen TV shows, which was my pick. And DeAndre, host of Masturbators, he won the last one, so he got to pick one. And he picked, we're going to draft songs from his Spotify rap playlist of 2022.
2022.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, the one that's going on right now, that's teen sitcoms.
That's the next one we're doing. The one we just did was Weird Al songs and soundtracks from the 21st century. So anything past 2000. And we pick 6 things. We draft 5 and then we have a bench. It's really fun.
It sounds like fun, man. I would probably pick one of Weird Al's 80s songs, like probably like the when he was really on Mike's ass. He was doing like Eat It, and then Fat. Yeah.
Yeah, those all, I mean, when you go, those are all first round picks. You know, I'm the wild card of the bunch. I like to do obscure. I rarely win. I think I've won twice now, or 3 times. It's hard to remember because I don't win often because my picks are never popular. That's okay.
Yeah, she goes for like niche things. She's the kid in film school that likes the French movie you've never heard of, you know?
No, my favorite movie is Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
Your favorite movie of all time?
Of all time, yes.
I mean,
I
that's
remember
a
seeing that in
banger.
the theater. Yeah.
Damn, you saw that in the theater, Steve.
Wow.
That was a strictly library rental for me, you know?
It's always on Fox for me.
Yeah.
As far as teen sitcoms, I mean, I'd have to say Saved by the Bell's the GOAT.
Yeah, I think that's going to go really fast. I feel like Boy Meets World, that one, 90210, all the like classic 90s ones are definitely going to be first, but You know, I came of age in the 2000s, so a lot of mine are probably going to be from that era. We'll see. I actually wrote down my top like 23 just randomly, so that's why I picked it as my topic. Because I
I feel
already
like
had the
I'm sorry, the genre though is hard to like nail down because is like everything on TGF from the 90s, is that a teen sitcom? Like
well,
Family Matters, is that a teen
no,
sitcom?
I kind of counted it as if you look at it has to be primarily about the teens, not the family. So I'm not counting shows like Family
Okay.
Matters or Full House because if you look on IMDb, the teens are not listed first. It's not their show, as opposed to Boy Meets World. It was Corey's show, and like
Yeah.
Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Those are more teen family, so those can count.
Okay. All right. Steve, we
Oh,
got to go
well,
on here
I
and
mean,
dominate though. I don't know what our thing's going to be, but we got to figure it out.
oh, since
90s?
you brought up, yeah,
we do a lot of 90s and 80s because that's the era we kind of grew up in. We have three that are 80s babies, 80s kids, two that are 90s kids. So we kind of debate about that a lot too. And they asked one day, why don't we go to the 2000s? And I was like, because 9/11, and everyone got real sad.
Oh God.
it, that's it's a good thing that you brought that up because I only one of your recent shows you had brought up a good point as far as 9/11 basically being the death knell on like that innocent age of like watching television and like really kind of like planning your day, your week around a television show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I
9/11
never even
took
thought
the
about
air
it
out
like
of
that,
us.
but like, yeah, it was kind of the end of an era because like you didn't see any TGIF, like none of that stuff was going on after that.
Yeah, people didn't want corny. Actually, we
Yeah,
did TV character crush, and his crush was from like a 1991 miniseries of Dark Shadows. So that show that was from the 60s about vampires. And I found
yeah,
it weird that that show, The Munsters and Adam's Family came out in the same like 5 year gap. And I was like, why do you think that is? And he was like, I'm not sure, but I think in times of like sorrow in the real world, so times of war or, pandemic, stuff like that, we turned to fantasy more. That's why you saw a rise of Game of Thrones and the Vampire Diaries and all that in recent years. So I found that
yeah.
interesting.
Oh wow. Wow.
There's something to
Is
that.
it
Yeah,
Yeah, and also like the
corny?
tone, like you couldn't like joke about sort of like the violence and stuff as much either. Like you couldn't have like a Batman movie where Joker, like the Jack Nicholson type Batman in the early 90s. Like the tone of that's kind of over the top and absurd, but he is scary. But then it's after that, it's the Heath Ledger tone of Joker. So like if you look at those two things, it's like after 9/11, it did kind of get less wacky and more grounded and
yeah.
scary,
Then
if
he
that
Even
makes
asked,
sense.
darker. Yeah.
why so serious? So it kind of balance.
Oh
They're
wow.
kind of think about it.
See,
Were
look
they
at
making a
this.
social commentary? I don't
It's
No.
know.
just a whack era to me. I don't know, and it sucks because like that's when like we were becoming adults at 18, 19, and like that's supposed to be like a better time. Like, dang, like why can't I be 18, 19 in the 90s or
Yeah.
I would
or
have
I
wanted to
would have
be 18, 19 in the 80s.
or the 80s? That would have been fun. Like go
I
see
don't know.
Back to
There's
the
a lot of
Future.
dangerous shit you could have gotten into in the 80s where I feel like it was a little more wholesome in the 90s. You weren't going to get some crazy disease or be smacked up on coke all the time coming
Well,
out of high
listen to that
school.
music of the
Man,
80s.
just stay away from the crackheads. It was that simple. Just say, hey, there's this new drug going around. Stay away from the people that are toking it. All right, you'll be
Stay
all
away
right.
from Ronald
Listen,
Reagan.
yeah, listen to Ronald, listen to Michael Jackson. Get a pair of Jordans or two. Yeah,
There you
drink
go.
Coke.
So yeah, that's what you can find on Crushgasm. We talk about crushes and 9/11 disasters. How they relate to
Uh,
crushes. We get
Bringing it
deep.
full circle.
I was going to say it's
Yeah.
deep. It goes deep though. I like that.
Top 5 crushes from the 90s, Kendra. Hot
Oh,
seat.
fun.
Oh man.
Oh, I'd say Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, Sean Hunter from Boy Meets World, JTT from Home Improvement, Lion King, Man of the House. He has so many. Tom and Huck. He's a ja. And then if I had to pick two more, who's mine? Harvey from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Nick Carter from
Harvey.
Backstreet Boys.
Wow. Dang, she came out just six shot you, Steve. She had them ready to go.
People ask me about crushes all the time. Of course, I have a member.
Yeah, I mean, she's been preparing for this.
People don't realize how great a
But-
crush Harvey Kinkle actually is from Sabrina. He's the unsung hero of 90s crushes.
Apparently, I mean, you had him above JTT.
Hey, Clarissa's dude that was coming up the ladder doesn't get in there?
I thought Sam was cute, but not like top. He may be top 30, but
dang, he's willing to endanger himself to get up and hang out with his homie. That guy's he's a real one. I don't know.
Sam had acne in too many episodes, man. I don't know. That I think that might have dropped him. That might have dropped him a couple. Man, you got a blackhead. It's season 3, Sam. You still got.
My 8th grade crush was like Pizza Face from all that, so acne didn't bother me.
What does that say about me then? I mean,
I can look
questionable taste, Steve. Questionable taste.
Man, I don't know, dude. You got that Nick Nolte mustache, man. Like,
thank you.
Goddamn, Steve. This Nick Nolte mustache. How dare you?
No, bro, but it's about. I watched this movie called Q&A that came out on April 27, 1990. And Nick Nolte plays this bad cop. And man, that is a mustache that commands attention. Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. Man. Kendra. Look at that's my future.
Like the diabetes guy, but brown.
Oh, yeah.
Diabetes.
What was that guy's name? Brimley. He does have a Wilford Brimley, like young Wilford look. Intense.
Hey,
Q&A, Steve. Business. He does. Rip a butt. I mean, that guy he's committing a crime. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely doing something wrong.
He is a rogue cop, and the people who knows he's a rogue cop, they don't want to let him know that he's that intimidating. Look at the mustache.
Look into my mustache.
Okay, all right, man. You got it, bro. You got it. You didn't do anything. Who are you? I don't even know you.
Look here. That's what I thought. Go watch Blue Chips.
I coached Shaquille O'Neal. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm a legend.
Did he have the mustache when he was coaching Penny Hardaway and Shaq?
Nah, hell no. He was clean cut. You can't get those recruits looking like that, Steve.
Man,
looking like you're coming to arrest somebody.
Who would win in a fight, Shaquille O'Neal or Nick Nolte's mustache?
Nick Nolte's mustache.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's powerful and it's got a lot of drugs mixed into it, so it hits Shaq. He's going down like a drugged rhino. I'm feeling woozy. Nick Nolte's mustache. I touched Nick Nolte's mustache. I'm feeling woozy.
Never fake the phone from Nick Nolte's mustache.
Is there a problem? Across the road up there. It's wet, slippery, sharp curves. Never know what's going to pop up in front of you. Go ahead.
Well, what about him?
Yeah, he's got StabiliTrak.
The all-new Seville STS with StabiliTrak, the world's most advanced integrated stability control system. It's not just new, it's what's next.
Gonna let me go? Sorry, I was lost in the moment.
The all-new Seville STS, it's what's next.
Hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G, Matt G, and a special guest, Kendra B, that happened in the 90s. The show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your Tony Braxton and your Tony, because it's the real shit to make them feel shit, lump them in the club shit, have you out and out when you bump this, drugs to your eardrum, raw, uncut, have a ninja OD, because it's never enough. Oh, it's the real. Do, do, do. What you know about that quiet storm? Do, do.
Kendra, we're releasing an album of Steve's intro, just freestyle. So please copy.
I just found out.
The dude's a musician, though. I mean, clearly, this guy's got skills. So I'm waiting, Steve. I don't think we can actually sell it because it's basically copywritten material, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, copyright, schmappyright. Well, today, my friends, we're talking about all things April 27th in the 90s. Starting off in 1990, The Guardian premiered in theaters. A young couple with a newborn baby don't realize that the nanny they hired is a magical nymph who sacrificed infants to an evil tree. Directed by William Friedkin, starring...
Who, Steve?
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. I mean, this sounds strangely like the storyline of Ernest Scared Stupid. But I don't know. It sounds close.
One of my crushes. Okay.
Ernest. Okay, well that's sidetracking
Sorry.
Sally right there. I don't know. I guess that's kind of a compliment to me, but I don't know, Steve. That's weird.
This is the show where we sidetrack Sally. But like, I want to give y'all a disclaimer. All the movies that like are going to be talked about, they all blow. They're not good. They were horrible. Like April 27th, like in 1990. Yeah, they dropped some turds.
Well, you're coming off of a 420, so this is just where there's this release in the trash. You got to get ready for the spring holiday, the summer. You got to get this toilet stuff. You got to flush the toilet. So
it's like the leftover, the refuge from the main shit. It's not the good shit. It's not the real shit. This is bad. I don't know where are we going with this.
Just leftover. It's okay.
Yeah, so Guardian, it blew, man. And just like Q&A, I've actually fell asleep. The only thing that really kept me through the first hour was like Nick Nolte's mustache, man. A dirty cop, Mike Brennan, thinks he got away with murder. But during a routine Q&A, the righteous assistant DA finds a clue that sets them both on a collision course. Directed by Sidney Lumet, starring Nick Nolte, Timothy Hutton, Armand Asante, Charles S. Dutton with hair, and a young Luis Guzman.
Dang. Also, the director of this, Sidney Lumet, is that's like a name I know. I thought maybe I know him from something else, but it's crazy that you said this is bad. So.
Yeah, I mean, I fell asleep to it, man. I don't know.
Was there a little of this, Steve? A little bit of this? Is it one of those?
Always a little bit of that. It just.
Well. You're not going to hit a one out of the park. I guess Sidney Lumet and all the acting talent in the world they couldn't save this. Not even a powerful Tom Selleck-esque mustache could save this movie.
It's Tom Selleck mustache. That's top tier. This is more Wilford Brimley-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Still, that's a very powerful mustache. Apparently, Nick Nolte. The mix was off. He maybe did a little bit too much of one drug. It wasn't helping him out. So we'll give him a pass.
God damn it, Steve. Stop shitting on my movies.
Shit on your mustache and your movies. How dare they? Why is America I remember, didn't you say Nick Nolte was like most beautiful person one year in 1990
he was
or something?
The sexiest man in 91, I believe. Or 2.
Dang, what happened? And also, that's the sexiest man in the world, though, even at his best.
Maybe it was the mustache. Maybe they thought it was so sexy. It came out in 1990, April 27th. Man, this guy from Q&A, he's the sexiest man alive. And
I just love. I was like, why is it called Q&A? And it's just literally so he's being interrogated for like a dirty thing, and it's just like. It sounds kind of like Usual Suspects, but with dirty cops. Is it that? Is it even that good? It's not even that good. No, okay. It's that bad. No. Okay.
I mean, I you know what, man? Maybe I need to give it a second shot. It is Sidney Lumet.
However, tomato, Steve. Lumet. We're in there.
Yeah. Q&A. 1990, the same day, Space Invaders came out in theaters. Dim-witted Martians drop into a little Illinois town on the day that the local radio station happens to rebroadcast Orson Welles' 1938 War of the Worlds.
What are the chances?
I remember this movie, though. This is like a kid's comedy movie, right? Is that what it is?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
man. One of the Martians is modeled after Jack Nicholson. Like,
Stupid.
Yeah, this sounds
yeah,
dumb as rocks.
super.
Yep.
It
I was
was.
gonna say, I knew they looked stupid as shit. This was a library rental too.
Hey, man, I told you, all things April 27th, them movies suck. And this
Man.
one, man, it's no different. What
It looks like an
was
ad
it?
for like some like soda company. Like I don't know. It just looks really low
It
class.
looks like the McDonald's with the Moon Man, like
Yeah.
that style of animation.
Mac at Night or something, wasn't it? Mac was it Mac tonight or Mac at Night?
We're
Turn off the Mac. Why did they ever use that?
no,
Didn't get it.
they couldn't. What's his name? The guy that sung that? Mark something.
Gosh.
Ooh,
Return to the Mac.
no, we're talking about two different things.
This is the danger of having three people, Steve, and we're all potheads, so they could go in any direction. Kendra, no, McDonald's never used Return to the Mac as a theme song. Steve, I hear what you're saying, the weird McDonald's Mac at Night thing. I hear that too. This is a hilarious, awful, like Mac and Me style kids alien movie, and the aliens all wear hilarious. Like one of them has a varsity jacket. They have like human clothes, but
that's Jack Nicholson.
Human asses for heads with antennas. It's very bizarre.
Like, wasn't Jack Nicholson like involved with Mars Attacks? Wasn't he one of the people?
He was
like,
the president, I think. I believe in that.
What is it with Jack Nicholson and like Martians? What is Hollywood trying to tell us?
Well,
I am one. Yeah, that's my Corey Feldman. Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
maybe
you
he
got
just
too
like
stuck in that one.
I can't.
I love it though.
I love Corey Feldman, but Jack Nicholson, maybe he just like anytime he receives a script that says aliens in it at all, he's like, I'm in.
I'm in.
Sign me up.
Yeah, man. In 1990, another movie that sucked, Wild Orchid. A female lawyer becomes mesmerized by a self-made millionaire during an encounter in Rio, setting off a series of erotic encounters. Directed by Zalman King, starring Mickey Rourke and it doesn't matter.
Of course, Mickey Rourke's in an erotic 90s movie. I don't like this. I don't want. Damn though. I'm gonna put a side by side of that Mickey Rourke and the Mickey Rourke we have today, and I just like to beg the question: what in the fuck happened? Because it is bizarre.
Like, Kendra, was he even hot before his like fried booty face look now?
Like, look at that. Look at the picture behind Steve. Would you go out on a date with that guy? He looks normal.
Yeah, if he is paying for dinner, sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's all it took. Paying for dinner.
It's about free food. I just want to know 90% of the time, we're not interested in you. We're interested in the food. Times are hard.
Yeah, like, you gotta be attractive.
Men out there.
That's facts though. Like, man, when guys struggling to get dates, I'm like, bro, like, man, screw your looks, man. Like, you can find somebody that want a meal.
Find somebody real hungry. They're gonna go out on a date.
If it's that,
I'm proof positive,
bro,
Steve. I found the woman of my dreams because I took her to a place called Salsa and Beer. So that's just a note to everybody.
It's so good.
Hey,
it's delicious. It's the Chi-Chi's of LA. It's delicious.
What a great way to ice break.
Oh yeah. I mean, the whole story of it, I'm not going to share it here just because of how insane it is. But like leading up to the moment I met Kendra, Steve, there was a possibility of me going to jail that day. I had to call off work. There was a lot of hurdles I had to get over just to get to her to go out on that date. So just, apparently.
A lot of red flags that I ignored.
Yeah.
Man.
But we're here today, strong, Steve. Unable to be in the same room together because we can't stand each other, but strong. We're doing great.
One of these days, Kendra, straight to the moon. Man, like, that sounds like the premise of a 90s movie. What do you say?
I'm in. Girl's just in it for the meal, ends up meeting the man of her dreams. I mean, it sounds like, is it Pretty Woman? Sort of. It's like a sequel, kind of. You know, it's not strawberries and chocolate
Wait,
and champagne in a hotel. It's salsa and beer in Van
Beautiful
Nuys.
King Beach dip.
pretty woman. Like you making it seem like Kendra's a worker.
I'm not, but hey, if you're willing to go out just for a date for a meal, I mean, you're towing a very thin line.
Oh,
She's saying it,
Is
Steve.
work. Sex
What?
work is work. Okay.
work. On Wild Orchid. Have any of y'all seen that?
No,
I
absolutely
was
not.
3 in 1990, so I have not seen watched them all.
It makes no sense. Like I was like half ass watching it, taking notes, whatever. But like every time I looked up, like a woman's getting or something. Like
Oh,
it's like
that's not erotic at all. And that's downright awful, Steve. I don't know what the fuck.
It was like but it came across like some Eyes Wide Shut shit, and in part South American Freaknik. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if they were like on some island, like people were wearing masks, and like a woman, she was just like defensive, like, but they would end up having sex, and she would like it. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It makes no sense.
Good that came out this year.
Nah.
Movie.
I mean,
this day, I should say.
Brooke Shields, she was going to be in it, but like she's too pretty for it.
Yeah, I could see. Well, again, we discussed this on a recent episode. The weird genre of film that no longer exists, that was in the 90s, which was a step above Cinemax porn. It was that, but with like a legitimate actor in it, like a Mickey Rourke, or like Sliver, if you remember. There was a Baldwin in that, and I believe Sharon Stone. So you get celebrities banging, but you also get like the Cinemax quality storyline and lead up to the sex. So, I'm not surprised, Steve. It sounds like just a snoozer, but I guess if you wanted to see Mickey Rourke just grinding on a chick that apparently was defensive about it, I guess this is the movie to go to.
There's titties.
I'm into that. Kendra, what do you think?
I mean, hey, it's gratuitous.
Not for me.
Well, Steve, I'm going to turn this on. Maybe Kendra and I will share an edible, and then we'll share just a little bit of, what was it called again? Blue Orchid?
Wild Orchid.
Okay. All right, Mickey. Chill out.
I'll send you the link, buddy. But on that same day when those crappy movies came out, Axl Rose, he marries model Erin Everly, daughter of singer Don Everly, in a Las Vegas ceremony. Divorce papers are filed on May 24th, then withdrawn, and then filed again that October.
I don't know if it just wasn't meant to be, Steve, I guess.
No.
So far away. That's crazy, though. Why even get married if you're Axl Rose in the 90s? I don't understand that.
I mean, because it's not 1980s anymore. You're Axl Rose, and it's Kurt Cobain's time. That's why.
And you're 10 years away from being pre-diabetic and not fitting into your pants or anything anymore. So, Axl, I'm sad for him. I think he let the woman of his dreams go, Steve.
He did this to himself. Man, you got Slash, bro. I do fucks with some Slash, though. Slash go hard in the paint. Like
I like Guns N' Roses. You don't like Guns N' Roses?
Man, I like Appetite for Destruction. Okay. And I feel like that's what people I was guilty of this, man. I misequated Guns N' Roses. Was like, it really just kind of like this album.
I'm with you on that. I'm not huge into that. Just like I was into more of like the grungy shit in the 90s and when this was still relevant. And, other than like November Rain videos and stuff like that, which I love when I was a kid and still do. Yeah, I think it's that one album that we all know and love. And other than that, I can just love it or leave it,
Yeah, Use Your Illusions and all of that. I mean, yeah, Spaghetti Incident. I'm cool. But in 1991, April 27th, the last episode of 21 Jump Street airs on Fox.
God bless. Johnny Depp was not in this episode, though, I don't believe. Was he? Because I think he had left before this show ended.
Oh, he's already a crybaby and Edward Scissorhands at this point.
I mean, can you look at him? Look, I love I always thought the Asian guy in this, just like the choice of style and hair that they gave that guy specifically was amazing. Look at that. It's like a hockey player haircut on an Asian dude with the Miami Vice stylings. I love it.
Ooh, he totally has the Yaramir.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Kendra, are you going out on a date with that guy? Let's ask get a female opinion on the looks here.
I probably would only go with Johnny Depp in this cast of.
Oh, not the Italian guy either? Not the guy in the middle?
Was it Greco?
No. I mean, I appreciate the diversity of this cast, though.
Yeah. Oh, Rainbow Coalition.
Who's that fat guy behind by Johnny
That's
Depp?
the guy I was talking about, is the fat guy. And I just also like to point out that, like, these people were supposed to be in high school. They were being used to infiltrate high schools.
So. I mean, Greece. Rizzo.
Yeah, I mean, those people look 60 years old in Greece. These people, so Johnny looks young. Maybe the Asian guy does not.
They're playing with that because remember when you were a freshman, how old a senior looked? You know,
some of them.
So they're playing on that. Yeah. So when you're watching this as a kid, that does look like a high schooler. Watching it now, you're like, that looks like me.
Yeah, now shit, I look like the old black dude, the chief.
Yeah.
That's the only guy I can even sympathize with now. That him or the fat Italian dude.
You're Mr. Belding.
Yeah. Isn't that sick? That's what I like about watching these shows with her, Steve, is that she won't hesitate to be like, you realize that you're the age of that old piece of shit in the show that you used to watch. It's like, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I did kind of know that already. It wasn't a pressing concern at the moment, but you kind of brought it back to the forefront. Thanks for
cutting me down. Thanks for really just cutting me down, giving me a once for. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was making some steps up today.
21 Jump Street.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I know you have some 21 Jump Street someplace.
Here it is. I have the best of from the 99-cent store.
Oh, that's a steal. How many discs are in there?
One.
I was gonna say one with like 2 episodes on it.
There's 6 episodes that they call the best out of the whole series.
Wow.
Damn.
And one is a 2-parter, so it's kind of only like 5 episodes.
The only thing I remember about 21 Jump Street is that they're infiltrating like high school gangs and stuff, but at one point they would always be, you know, you're an undercover cop. So the last thing that you can do is tell somebody you're dealing with that you're a cop or undercover. Within 10 minutes of every episode, somebody in the cop gang has told the people that they're dealing with that they're a cop. And it just completely, it's like, why are you guys even doing this? What's the training?
It's horrible.
This version is so much better.
I did like that movie. Those movies were funny.
Well, I just call Jonah Hill Seth. Call him Junior Seth. I don't know why.
They all come together, Steve. It's that whole pack of kids.
Right. They all come together. Where are we going?
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. So 1990.
What? What'd you say?
21 Jump Street. They're over and done. 91. We're moving on.
I like this, Steve. We need somebody like this.
Yeah, man, I've been trying to tell you. 1993, Porno for Pyros came out. I don't know if you know about that, but you know their name is Porno for Pyros.
Great name. That's all. Them and Butthole Surfers, 2 bands I didn't really care for too much, but great band names. So
yeah, that was the thing.
What is on that? Is that a vibrator, Steve? What is that?
It's a blow dryer. I don't know.
Oh.
Sorry to ask.
An old heater.
Looks like what you used to pop popcorn in back in the day. Yeah, I don't know. These are just pop thoughts now. We're just getting crazy over here.
Sidetrack special. Sally. 1995, Martin airs the episode The Romantic Weekend. Gina and Martin end up in the same island resort as Tommy and Pam, and the couples compete to see which will have more fun.
There's 5 minutes of TV at the end of this, Steve, that is the greatest. I couldn't stop laughing.
I mean, the giggles, man. I don't know if I'll make it through this, man, without just losing it, dude. This is one of the greatest episodes ever in sitcom history. I still laugh. And this shit came out in 1995. Every time I've seen that scene, both of those scenes, I lose my shit. It's the equivalent of watching the Eddie Murphy or the Charlie Murphy, Rick James shit for the first time. But with this, it's every time, bro.
I can't. I'm the same way, and I have like top 10 of. We were talking about top 10 of everywhere lists of stuff. Martin episodes. It's hard for me to like know the number one, but it might be this. It's this, the Walkman episode with the fake dog, and the Tommy and Pam Martin realizing they're dating episodes. And man, dude, when they're beating the shit out of whatever the rat is, it's physical comedy gold.
For Tashina and Martin.
Mm-hmm.
We just know it's not a damn puppy. I don't know what the hell that was. I mean, that's too big to be a mouse or a rat.
Probably a capybara, but I don't think they're mean. So I don't know. I don't know their nature, but
I don't think that they have an actual animal in mind. They wrapped fur around an RC car and just said, "Let's go."
I'm just saying, more as a nature documentarist fan.
I can see that. Maybe a honey badger or something unkillable that will just keep coming and coming at you.
I think those are in Australia.
I don't know where Chilligan's Island is, so we can only
watch Jeff Corwin fucking Experience, did you?
I did, but I watched the other guy more, the Australian dude that died. Jeff Corwin seemed like he was like just he was too fancy. He didn't go out and like dive into like an alligator pit someplace in Australia. He was like at a Gucci store 5 minutes before he was holding a snake or something.
What about Jack Hanna, the king of
he's from Ohio. You don't got to tell me about Jack Hanna. The guy's a legend of Columbus, the Columbus Zoo. And he was one of the first TV guys with the animals. So we're sidetracking Sally fully away from Martin. And I'm going to bring it back to this episode. Rest in peace to Steve Irwin. We love you. But Steve, Martin, Chilligan's Island, match made in heaven. But it's not starting off that way because we're seeing Martin. He's in his apartment doing something I do all the time, just trying to figure out something to watch. And like probably what Kendra does most of the time is Gina's in there and she's bored. She doesn't want to just sit around in Detroit watching TV all the time. She wants to get up and do something. And I've heard this argument a lot. I've heard it a lot, Steve.
Yeah. She wants to go to the roller rink with Tommy and Pam, and Martin's not trying to be around Baldy and the Beast. You're gonna watch some Def Jam. There's some talented brothers on there. That's what we heard.
But they gotta celebrate, Steve, because it is Pam and Tommy's 6-month anniversary. Pam and Tommy in love. Tommy's saying suave things to Pam, as he will do from time to time. He'll just throw a little love haiku at her. Kisses the hand, and Martin just is like, ugh, get out of here with this.
And like, really, Martin's not on nothing, man. He's just trying to like be in his element and watch his TV shows. And that's me every weekend. I like, man, forget.
Kendra, is this accurate to our relationship? Is this basically you and I?
Yeah, I think it's the yin and yang of a new relationship versus a relationship that's, in their ways.
Yeah, we got a routine.
The newlywed phase. I get it.
But I still do that, Steve. I still take Kendra's side. I'm like, I love you so much. You've just made my life. Okay. I see a shaking of a head. I'm going to stop lying. But we're going to go to the next scene here. And it's, Martin's not happy. He's set in his ways. He's hanging out with Tommy the next day. They're chilling. And Gina, again, very bored. Tommy and Pam, they say they're going to, or Tommy says they're going to the beach. So this is making Gina furious because she's just gonna be watching somebody on a beach on TV. And even Cole, this dude's he's gonna get to go out of town because him and Big Shirley are going to a curly fry convention in Chicago, which I would love to go to. Sidetrack Sally. I would love to go to a curly fry convention. Steve doesn't seem too enthusiastic. Kendra actually seemed pretty happy about it. So
Well, we've gone to food conventions.
yes, we have. We're former fat kids, so we have done this. But Martin and Gina, they're in no danger of doing anything because I mean, Martin just wants to look into the TV guide and see what's on tonight. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Martin ain't trying to do shit, man. Watch this Andy Griffith.
Man, there ain't no brothers in Andy Griffith though, Steve. You ever notice that?
No.
Unless Opie was down with the
Mayberry felt like a sundown town, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd want to be there. What did he say though? He's like, if is he a victim of the swirl?
Opie's mom, but I feel like Mayberry was definitely in the Green Book as a don't go there after dark.
There's some good old boys out there. Out that way,
you think Andy Griffith is gonna whistle your ass out of the town at the end? I feel like he would be cool. You don't think he's cool?
He's a man of the law, so I think he's gonna respect the law of the big land of America. But in his town, I think he would turn an eye if Barney roughed somebody up with a little melanin, for sure.
Yeah, because Barney was a wild card, man. He was fidgety with that trigger finger.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, I killed a couple of them down by the river. You gotta help me. Oh, jeez. Well, okay. So I guess we dug deep here. I guess freaking Andy Griffith is a racist piece of shit. But back at Martin and with Martin and Gina, everybody leaves. Everybody's got plans. Pam and Tommy even have like a horse and carriage ride in Detroit, which I don't know what the fuck that is. That's like a donkey and a sled.
Bro, I'm sorry, man. Is this simping? He got her a ring on it for 6 months, man. And where do you work, bro? Like to be affording 6-month rings and.
Man, that's a Kmart ring, Steve. That's a Gumby gold ring. And he probably got like Hustle Man to dress up like a horse and carry pull a bike or some shit. It's some ghetto shit he's bought. But Martin tells Gina after everybody leaves, I actually I think I want to take you someplace special. I think I want to take you someplace romantic. And she's like, oh my God, you've been planning something? He's like, yeah, I have. Check this out. And I don't think this is where you want your ideas for vacations to start. It's on the back of a cereal box, Steve, and I don't like that.
I mean, Gina being a writer that she is, man, she still is like, you know what, Mark? I think I could kind of get into this. Like, she's trying to go with this, like.
Even with a vacation that comes with coupons off of the back of us, it's not even just off the back of a cereal box. It has coupons. So I got reservations, Steve, and I'm not to the hotel. I just have some questions first. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you needed 10 box tops to get to the vacation. So I guess he got those 10 box tops, man, because we made it to Chilligan's Island. We're here. And
they got a runway. I'd be like, okay, there's a runway here. I'm feeling hopeful, but then they get there, Steve, and once I see the hula dancer, I'm out. I'm going right back on the plane, bud.
A super thick hula dancer, accompanied with a creepy bald black brother, and like this is how we starting off our vacation. But did you catch how Tommy and Pam were like, yeah, we got to go get our traveler's checks and passports? You needed a passport to go to this motherfucker? Like
the day before? What kind of fucking what kind of front of the line pass you got for all these documents? It takes months, y'all.
Look like y'all went to Decatur. Y'all need to go to no passport.
So Kendra, I bring this to you. What are your immediate thoughts? Chilligan's Island, we're going. What are you thinking? Are you in?
I would like the coupon because I like a deal. But I think it was the plastic Lays that really would be the sign right when we got there that this was not going to go well. There's
Not
no
the Bam Bam
flour.
Bigelow hula dancer that shows
No,
up
you
looking
get
like
the-
she's
they probably got-
diabetic.
They got laid, right off the plane, the Lays in their Party City plastic. That's going to be
Yeah, well, I
sign
mean,
number one.
there's a million red flags here. And Martin is he's not a quiet guy. If he's got a problem, he's gonna bring it up. So they're getting a tour of the hotel, and he's like, yo man, what happened to all the amenities that you were talking about? And the guy just takes him through because clearly he's had these questions asked before. He's like, mini bar, and it's just some rum chained to the wall. Nice view. He opens up some tattered like shades, sees some dirty ass underwear hanging. So I guess that's the view. And then the what was it? Technologically advanced telecommunications setup, which is just a payphone that I don't even think works. Steve.
A very old
There's a payphone.
It was a rotary.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are at Hotel Rwanda's like secondary place, and Martin's not happy, but they're trying to make it work, Steve. They're trying, It's like, it's not so bad. We got this place, we're here, let's enjoy it. But then as he's just like trying to just chill out, Gina's like, Martin, I think there's a puppy here. This is where the comedy starts, Steve, because that ain't no fucking puppy, bud.
That ain't no damn puppy. And this is one of the greatest. Yes.
Dude, when he has the thing locked up in the door and he's like tickling it and jacking it, it lasts 5 minutes.
Shit.
And it's just 5 minutes of hilarious comedy.
When he was like strangled by the fucking thing, he was like, bro, one of the greatest physical comedy moments ever, man. I just, this is why Martin is up there when it comes to that, dude.
Oh, the other thing, before he fights the beast, when he's talking to the hotel dude, he's like, man, is this the champagne suite? And the guy's like, yeah, this is the world famous champagne suite. He's like, man, this is the gin and juice room. And I know I've seen the hotel guy in some other shit. I don't know what it was. I feel like it was a horror movie or something, but yeah, you got to fight to live here, Steve. The Chilligan's Island Chupacabra thing, it's coming back, but they got him out for at least a little bit. And now Gina's turned on. She's seen her man fight for his life, and she's a little hot in the pants, Steve.
Yeah, man. She's like, boy, you better get down. Martin, oh, you want to get down?
I like that he bought her some like lingerie and she's just constantly trying to like squeeze her arm into the shit. Martin, I can't fit into this. Yeah, baby, you don't gotta fit into it. Oh
my God, bro.
This is a power couple, Steve. This is what me and Kendra do. Even when you're in the worst situation possible, you make magic out of it. You make fun of it.
Try to make some aluminum foil into some lingerie. It looked like some little
baked potato.
Yeah, it definitely did. It looked like a baked potato pouch. But as they're getting ready to just, get to it, they hear this familiar voice or a couple of familiar voices just maybe in the next room. And they're like, man, do you hear something? You hear Pam and Tommy? And then they lift up like a mirror on the wall, look through a gigantic hole in the wall, and there's Pam and Tommy right there, Steve. Tommy had the same fucking idea. He had the same box of cereal, Steve.
They're both accusing each other of trying to steal each other's shine. And I mean, Martin was a hater, to be real. I mean, he was kind of like hating on the shit from the beginning. Like, oh yeah, man, fuck your little 6-month anniversary. Y'all a little bullshit ring. Hey, y'all going on vacation? Shit, I'm over here watching Andy Griffith, man. Fuck what y'all talking about. Like, damn, bro. Like, be proud for your boy.
I mean, you didn't tell him where you're. I guess Tommy was embarrassed, but now they're stuck on this island together, and they're both like, "Yo, now they want to out fun each other," which sounds like a nightmare. But like Martin's like, yeah, we gonna take the jet ski up Chilligan's Falls. What jet ski? Is it a guy swimming you up that shit? Because I don't think they got a jet ski.
Hey, just get on this thick brother's back. Like, man, it's like they both take an L. Like, it's funny how they're trying to outdo each other, but it's like, no, both of y'all just failed. Like, just like this, the game is over. The jig is up.
Yeah, what are you guys gonna bang like next to each other in these awful rooms that clearly have bed bugs and other awful things running around, you know?
Just like that Frasier episode when Lilith was next door.
True. But see, that was a island paradise that they could have enjoyed. This is like, I see Hep C on the floor of that. There's like roots growing on the walls. This is some crazy shit.
It's glamping, okay?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it really is. There might be a yurt. There's that little of structure of this hotel. It looks like a tent with a ceiling. So they go out to have their own fun. We cut to later in the day, and both couples come in just looking ravaged. They look like they both were fighting the chupacabra all day, just looking rough.
Looking busted.
And Kendra, what do you think? You see a Chilligan's Island beast, because that's what happens. Everybody's sitting there, and then Tommy sees it coming in the window, and Pam goes at it. Kendra, are you going at the Chilligan's Island beast in the way that Pam does to protect me? Or are you going to do what you usually do and push me towards the danger and back away?
Yes, in fight or flight, I'm a flight type of person. It's just my nature to just walk away. And I would walk away.
Yeah. She would have pushed me at the Chilligan's. I would have my face just being mauled to death. So she could get away with our dog. But Pam she's a soldier, Steve. She goes at this thing even harder than Martin did the first time. It just she
going straight jab.
I mean, she's doing some like Billy Blanks level martial arts. She's got some training.
Man, I thought some knee kicks in there. Like she had that motherfucker in the headlock. They were tag teaming that motherfucker. Like she was holding it while he was giving it body shots. Tommy was in the back giving it some elbows.
Dude, when she's holding it, when it's going for her neck, and Martin's trying to like hit her while she's moving around. I mean, it's amazing.
After this, man, I think I might watch that episode again, man. I love it so much.
It's so good. I mean, it really is. You can't help it. Even those other episodes I mentioned, I was like, maybe I won't laugh as much because I've seen them so much. But every time I see these parts, I can't help it, dude.
I lose my shit.
But this is one of the few times in this show where we get a nice Martin Pam team up
collaboration. Yeah,
and they even they give each other props. They both kind of. Yeah, backhanded props. I mean, I think Pam says he's like, damn, you really went for it. And Pam's like, I had to. That thing outweighs you. So she gets hers in. And that's it. I think it actually comes back to the door a little bit. Like they have to fight it again. But this is where they cut and we go to the credits. But there is an after credits sequence as well.
Well, I mean, I would like to be in the audience that day, man, because I think it would be even funnier seeing a stagehand throw this little doll into these adults, like, because that's what happened.
The person's hand in the doorway, and the first time he fights it, you can see the person's hand holding it.
Really? Oh my!
I mean, they had like three things. They had like a football that had fur on it. They had an RC car that had fur on it. And they had something else that I don't know what. A hand puppet. But we do cut after that. And Martin and Gina are just laying in bed. And he's like, it's not coming back. The thing's gone. We're
in the
actually
clear. We're good.
We get to just chill out. It ain't so bad. Like this bed's actually pretty nice. And then he's like, there's no more danger. And then as soon as he says that, the bed like flips up like a Murphy bed into the wall, and the thing is like on the bottom, and its eyes glow red and shit. So they might die, Steve. I don't know. This is like a Twilight Zone episode. Kendra, and her dad loves Martin, so she's a Martin aficionado too. Is this one of your favorite episodes?
It's one of my favorites, yeah. The scene for sure. I always liked Martin because of the physical comedy and how I like that they never really edited out a lot of when they break character. You could see Gina breaking in a lot of the scenes. She like improvs a lot. And that's what I always liked about this show. It always reminded me of I Love Lucy because of like how physical it was. And I say this all the time. I don't think she's my number one for TV, but I think Martin is the only character to come close to her in physical comedy. Marlon Wayne's almost, but it's Martin for me for like if in that genre. But yeah, I like if you watch a lot of the episodes, they break so much. It's like watching SNL, and it's cheap too. Like the props, it's so amazing, but it works.
Just
but
like
this is one of my favorites. But my favorite's the dog. I love the Walkman one.
The Discman, yeah. Like and the fact that Discman cost that much when they were like, was it 94 when that episode came out, I believe? Like I think they were like 200 or something.
Yeah,
you wanted, like, the best.
You're breaking the banks. That's a week's pay.
And you're trying to. And the kids today won't understand. That was the purpose of the Jankos.
I didn't even think of that, Steve. I was a fat kid. I was just like, functionally, this is the pair of pants that fit on my fat ass. So that's what I thought it was. But that does make sense. The pockets.
Those things were huge.
You could hide a baseball bat, a medium Pizza Hut pizza, and at least a couple of throwing stars in each pocket. You're good to go. So
75 gigapets, like you're good. You're set.
Yeah.
$20 worth of quarters for the arcade. You need a belt to hold it up.
The pog tube, the giant pog tube. Your pants.
And also that makes you look like you got a huge donger too. So if you're walking like, hey ladies.
Is that a bunch of pogs, or are you just happy to see me?
You going to the pog tournament, or are you just happy to see me, partner?
But you brought up something. I'd like to know who your 4 comedic actresses, your Mount Rushmore of comedic actresses.
Oh, actresses? For TV, I'm going to stay with TV because that's what I love. It'd be Lucille Ball, Kristen Wiig. Ooh. I love Katie Sagal in Married with Children. And as bad as she is in real life, I'll say Roseanne Connor. Not Barr, Connor. If I had to, off the top of my head.
You have to separate the art from the...
I'm going to replace Peggy with the mom from Malcolm in the Middle. I think she did a better job. Lois.
She did hold it down.
And she was like always like, she would do the scenes topless and pissed. And those are always really funny. Because that reminded me of my
weird
mom.
Taste. Like, just hit too close to home. You were just like, it reminds me of me. I can really see myself.
Malcolm in the Middle is totally if Malcolm in the Middle and Roseanne had a baby, that would be my family.
Wow. Okay. That's what I'm marrying into, Steve. That weird combination. So.
Well, hey, Matt, some people enjoy the simple things in life, like lollipops in my mouth, butter in my ass. In 1996, X-Men is airing the episode Xavier Remembers. When Professor X suffers a slight concussion, his powerful psychic mind is suddenly open to manipulation.
I mean,
X-Man.
If this guy has a headache, what happens? Because, we need to get this guy in some sort of... We need to contain this. This episode scared me of Charles Xavier. Steve, a concussion?
Man, he can't go to sleep, dude. He's having visions of his X-Men getting like sodomized and the whole nine. And like, I often see him doing this a lot, man. He has these migraines all the time. He looks like me every time my ex-girlfriend is brought in the conversation.
He's going through it, Steve. And one thing that first of all, what happened for him to get it? The man's paralyzed. Did the chair flip over, or did somebody throw a ball and it hit him in the head? Because how'd this guy get a concussion? Just wondering.
It's like the world has gone under siege, man, and it's been taken over by, I believe, is it Dark Shadow?
the Shadow Man, I
Your
believe.
Shadow
Shadow
Man.
King.
Shadow King.
Shadow King.
But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. He's having visions now. Like somebody wasn't aware at X Mansion that a guy with a concussion can't go to sleep. They've let him go to sleep. He's having these crazy visions. Wolverine's fighting Sabretooth. Scott is being Cyclops is, and I think Jean are being kidnapped by Mr. Sinister, who's the villain that we see with them, the guy with the white face. And he's just going through it in these dreams, but the dreams are causing real havoc in the real world, So again, this guy has a migraine. The White House might explode because he's just envisioning some crazy shit. I don't like this.
And his mind is being manipulated, man. And like his mind is powerful. Jean Grey, like I guess what's her thing? Like, isn't she supposed to?
She's like a lesser version of Charles Xavier. She's psychic abilities just like Professor X.
But she has not reached that level as Professor X has.
Yeah. She's like she's like his understudy, basically.
Anakin to his Obi-Wan, I guess, in the start.
Yeah.
But even she couldn't run. She couldn't even run interference.
She can't even, then nobody can contact them. They're like, hey, you're the psychic. Hit this dude up and get him out of this coma. We got to figure this out. And she's like, I can't. So then we go into some flashbacks, which this is kind of a cool episode to watch because we do get to just see some like visuals of some things that are big in X-Men in this cartoon that are just not part of the story. We get to see Storm. We don't know it's Storm, but we go back to like an Africa flashback and sometime in like the 70s, and Charles gets pickpocketed by this young girl who actually is Storm. That's Storm as a young child. Her name is Aurora Monroe, I believe, as a human being, just like as a regular person. And in this flashback is where we meet the Shadow King, who is actually somebody Charles Xavier fought, bested, and met back in the day. And he's sort of reliving some of these moments in this weird like psychic coma that he's in right now.
And he flashes back to meeting everyone for the first time, and like I didn't want to overlook how everyone looked like Kmart models. Like Cyclops is Scott, and Wolverine, he's got on like cargo shorts, and Beast is dressed like John Cena.
Yeah, they kind of, what Steve's showing behind them, they kind of, I don't know if you were taking notes, but they flash to this. Like, they sort of show this part of it at some point. Yeah, they do. I like how in this, we get to see the X-Men, like, dressed down. Like, in the beginning, everyone wakes up and, like, Wolverine just in his undies. Him and Beast are in their BVDs just hanging out. It's weird.
Xavier, how are you doing?
Hey, bub, I got morning wood. Like, somebody cover me up.
It's pretty, they don't give a fuck. It's a school. They're just out there. So,
it's like a multiverse.
We find out in this flashback that when Xavier met this Shadow King dude back in the day, he took them to this thing called the astral plane, which is sort of where powerful psychics meet in psychic world, and they can fight. They can do, talk or whatever. And he fights this guy and sort of imprisons him in some sort of psychic prison in this world. Is it
like an interstellar fight club?
Kind of. It's like get out of your body, your mind astral projects into this place. So I guess your actual body is just sitting there going like, looking weird. And you are fighting psychically Charles Xavier as like dinosaurs, lizards, weird stick guys, but he wins. So basically Charles Xavier met this dude that was like manipulating psychically kids so that they would steal for him and do stuff for him. He imprisoned him. He formed the X-Men after this to stop people like this and fuck this dude over. So we sort of get the hint that this guy, this Shadow King guy, might be the guy manipulating his mind now that he's concussed, Steve.
Yeah, he's got some gripes, man. For more than 20 years, he was exiled in a cold, soulless prison, and he's ready for revenge.
And he
This
said,
Sunday, brother.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Charles Xavier and the Shadow King fading off on the astral plane of insanity.
but
X-Men.
this is causing, again, like these psychic visions and stuff are causing things to happen on Earth. So now we realize that the Shadow King is sort of trying to not only fuck with Charles Xavier, he's manipulating people outside using like their fears. You know, Storm will think that she's being boxed up and she's claustrophobic. That's her main fear. So anytime she's sort of imprisoned, she has a freak out. Wolverine constantly sees Sabretooth like attacking him, which my favorite episodes of this cartoon involve those two characters fighting each other. So I just thought it was cool that we got to see Sabretooth in this. And so now we sort of see that what's happening. Charles is concussed. He's in his mind fighting this guy. And now sort of Jean's getting hip to this because Charles' body is like dying and they're trying to figure this out. So Jean sort of is psychic detectiving the answers and figuring this stuff out on the fly, if that makes sense.
Kendra, did you have a favorite X-Men?
I always liked Storm just because she was the only Black person on the show. But mostly I just like the song. I remember on Saturday mornings, I would just make sure to see the song. And then I'd probably just like play with my dolls while it was playing. But I did like the show. It was cool. I like the animation of it. But
Yeah.
Storm for sure was the one I was like, she's cool.
I think
And
a
I
lot
liked
of girls
Rogue.
did that
Rogue
though.
had a cool I liked her color combination of her outfit.
And she was sexy.
Very.
She was very like sexy. You know, she was the one that was like out there trying to get some guys and like really entice dudes with that.
Looking
No.
back though, Gambit was hot. And I wish the movie came full circle with Channing Tatum, but it never happened. So
They can't get that character right. Steve, who was your favorite X-Men when you watched it?
I mean, the immediate Wolverine, with Gambit being a close second. I always thought, what was the Mystique? Thought she was pretty cool.
I always thought that would be the best power because you don't even, you know, in the show, people hate mutants and they don't like the ones that look crazy like Beast. She didn't have to deal with any of that. She could be whoever she wanted. I always thought that'd be kind of the most innocuous but cool power. But I'm like you, Steve. I was a Wolverine guy. We always like the badass dudes that want to fight. No one likes Cyclops. My favorite is Gambit, and then we don't get to see this guy, but there's a character called Bishop who kind of looks like a yoked Rick James, and he has a cool power. But no, Wolverine, I think, is pretty much every boy's favorite from the 90s. And it's kind of, I get where you're coming from, though. In terms of the female characters, Kendra, Storm was always my favorite just because I thought she looked coolest. I just didn't like how she has to sort of give some sort of Shakespearean, like, by the powers of the storm. She has to like kind of narrate her power, and I think that's kind of cheesy.
Wind and water, whirl and rage.
You know,
I like that she had the weather control because I loved Captain Planet and Wind. Wind and water were always my favorites, so she kind of combined those.
Okay. All right.
Cool hair. I have a thing for gray hair, like because Rogue had the strip and then she was all white. I like white hair,
especially with the gray streak.
Mm-hmm.
I like Storm when she has the cool, like shaved head mohawk style hair. I think that looked cool for her, but I like it all. She's hot. I mean, that's kind of what I also like about the animation style of the 90s is that other than like people who are obviously like Beast, it's all just like Steve said, JCPenney catalog model. Like, you know, it's just like yoked dudes, hot chicks, you know, there's no uggos in the X-Men. They don't let that happen.
Like the fat X-Men though, you're just like, hey guys.
He's going to be a villain no matter what. They had one. His name was the Blob, and he was a villain. And he was just fat.
And isn't Juggernaut got like a beer gut too?
No, he's just a big. He makes no sense, but yeah, he's not fat. He's just a big yoked juggernaut. That's all he is. And speaking about Charles Xavier, Juggernaut Steve, his brother, I believe. So little tie-in.
You mentioned Saber. Was Saber in clothes, or was that just his body? Because it was very weird. He didn't have like a butt crack, I noticed.
Sabretooth?
Yeah, it was a little weird. Just side note. Was he clothed, or is that just fur?
I mean, I'm going to assume that he has a human body under there. He is very hairy. He even has like some hair coming out like on his back, like some guys that we used to see at the gym in Lawndale. But no, there's some clothing there, you know.
Who was the fitness guru with that always had the onesie that looked like in the insides of the human body? That's
that guy.
We talked about him. What was that guy? I'm gonna look him up. It was the same material.
Yeah, he's wearing a onesie.
Yeah, he definitely, that's the style of superhero, Kendra. Whenever you join the X-Men or one of their villain teams, they give you a skin tight, color coordinated suit to go with whatever your thing is. So Sabretooth, clearly he's got a little tuck going on because he's not showing a lot.
Yeah, name Sabretooth. Let's see. Here's a hairy onesie for you.
What goes with blonde, weird back hair? All right. Just give him a brown and orange one. We got it. We got you covered.
But it has no ass in the back. Just make do of it.
Yeah. Also, you're a Canadian. You got no ass. Fuck you.
It was the astral plane, and that's in all the Marvel stuff. You
know,
like Black Panther went there in their own visions. I guess this is their astral. I don't know.
I guess that is the thing in the Black Panther movie. So maybe that is what it is, but.
Well, they say the astral plane is it's personal to you because it was in Moon Knight and it was the sands of Egypt. And for, I guess, psychics, it's turning into lizards in space.
Yeah.
And then looking like Shredder I don't know, it's weird.
I just don't like I feel like psychic powers, while like if you think about it practically, it probably would be pretty awesome. In terms of me watching a show, I don't want to watch a show about people's psychic abilities. I want to see the Wolverines, the Gambits. This and hearing ding, it just is, it's a little cheesy. Give him some migraine medicine and call it a day. I mean, this is crazy.
Tylenol would have taken away his powers. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, probably. It wouldn't take his powers away, but it would get him out of this predicament that they're in. I mean, somebody get this guy some Advil and at least slap him in the face to wake him up. I don't know what's going on here.
But him and Jean Grey, they go out to the astral plane or whatever, and somehow, some way, Xavier becomes like a space Raiden. Like he's got the same kind of hat. It looks pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie, man. And they do like a lightsaber duel.
Straight up. I mean, they even have the humming and the whole shebang. Xavier cuts Shadow King in half in the astral plane. The guy comes back. I mean, it's a whole thing. And I do like one thing when Jean Grey goes in, like eventually she's like, I'm going into the astral projection world. And Wolverine and everyone else is just sort of left there to just chill out. Wolverine like pulls out his thing and he's like, I'm going to give Xavier a Shadow King ectomy or some shit. Like I love Wolverine's mentality. It's just cut out vulgar. The problem. I'm going to cut it out.
Like he is always with the shits. How can you not love that, man? And like I found something ironic about this scene. It's like a lightsaber duel in X-Men, Star Wars, Marvel, and now Disney.
They saw it coming, Steve. Fox knew. Saw it. But I mean, this is all it takes. I mean, they team up. Eventually, Jean and Xavier put Shadow King in some sort of psychic lockbox. I think like black hole lockbox, and we're good to go. That's all it took. He wakes up. Hopefully they don't let him go back to sleep, or else we're going to lose 1 million people in some sort of crazy Thanos snap event. But see, this is the thing, Steve. I bet after this episode, this caused a bunch of problems because that's the thing. Xavier's too powerful. So invariably, there's going to be a storyline where they want to like control him because shit like this can happen. And in a way, I sort of understand it. If I'm a human and some guy gets a headache and then my wife's gone, like I don't like that.
A lot of doom on you.
But this did serve some purpose because it helped X remind himself of his purpose.
Helping people, not letting people get manipulated by people as powerful as he is. And, you know, the X-Men go on. This is not the last season. It's crazy. I actually thought there were less episodes, but I'm going to go back and actually watch this because they're bringing this cartoon back and making new episodes of it that are basically straight continuing from the last episode of the series that they made already. So I definitely want to rewatch this and remember all the storylines and shit because they are picking this up where they left off. So I do think that's cool. And I just got to give a shout out to the Fox Animation, the comics, because I do think without this show and the Spider-Man animated series that they did in the 90s, like around the same time, there would be none of the movies that we're seeing now, you know?
Because none of this stuff was that big when we were kids. And I mean, in the 90s, this is all we had to go off of, unless you were like a stern comic book person.
And that was frowned upon because I remember I was hiding the fact I was a comic book geek before this show came out. And that was the sort of thing. If you weren't there before this cartoon came out and comic books became more palatable and known to like regular people, this was not a thing. Like nobody knew about this before this cartoon that was not a comic book nerd. This brought it to us and to like countless I mean, Kendra is 4 years younger than I am, Steve, and she saw this. And her generation, the same thing. Like without that 4 or 5 years of this, none of all the craziness we're seeing in Marvel and the MCU and the cinematic universe, it wouldn't even be there. They never would have gotten there.
Well, DC already had the Batman movies, and then we had the Batman show, but it's actually Blade that saved Marvel from bankruptcy.
Yeah,
then,
shout out Wesley
they didn't do
Snipes.
much after that. But then I think it was the X-Men movies that showed, hey, there's an audience for this. And then it went, and now that's all we have.
And I bet that's why they made Wolverine such a central character to the to the movie, was because of what me and Steve said. Every boy that watched it, probably most of the girls too, they were just like, that was the character. That was the guy.
He was short. He was short though. He's a short king. But
yeah, Kendra wouldn't be. She wouldn't go out on a date with Wolverine, Steve, because she doesn't date men that are less tall than she is. So
most women don't. But here's the thing, and I don't know if this is a real stat, but it made sense. It said that shorter guys get more action than their taller counterparts.
A short guy who's in shape, though, yoked. Like I feel like the shorter guys are the ones like visually is what a woman would ideally want. There's more short yoke dudes. Us tall guys
work out less to get results.
We're just waiting around to be found, being tall and handsome. Meanwhile, the short guys, they got to put in work, and they do. I've been in clubs in my 20s where I've seen the little 5'5" guy just going straight to it. He's not doing the whole like posturing. He's like he's shouting at him. I got a little cousin, a little older little cousin named Early, and he gets around, and like he's a diminutive fella, but I mean he's got his way with words, man. Early, man. Shout out to Early.
You got to figure it out. They have more to overcome, Steve. I feel like a tall man. That's what a woman really wants in her head. Like us. It's what they want, but then the smaller guys, they got to be loud. They got to put the numbers game in because they're getting a lot more no's just based off of a visual. They're
persistent, man. They poke their chest out more because they got little man complex. So that little bravado thing, it might be cute to some of the women, man. But so Wolverine, with that being said, in the X-Men universe, he was probably getting his shing 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 on more than his than the Cyclops and all the other ones. And
yeah, he was definitely snickety snoiding all over the place. X-Mansion was just covered in Canadian DNA.
Cyclops and Jean Grey, I bet they had boring sex too. They always did missionary.
They were the Jim and Pam of the X-Men Academy for sure.
He doesn't. He comes fast too. He's Scott Summers always apologizes after sex is over. He's like, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's my lasers.
God, it's just something about your mind. It's just your psychic is it's too much. The
Do
mind
you
body.
think they use their powers when they are lovemaking?
I mean, I would hope Jean Grey's doing something with that psychic ability, hitting some sort of mental prostate, something.
Cyclops shouts, "Get it in my eye."
I mean, if Cyclops, here's my thing with Cyclops, if those glasses come off and he's busting, you're losing a lot of house to whatever's coming out of those eyes. It might come out of his dick. We're getting into a weird thing. And Steve, one last sexual thing I brought up to Kendra, bringing to you. It's a very like Mallrats Kevin Smith question. Beast, he's big, he's blue. Do you think his dick is hairy? Do you think his dick is big, or is Beast just what you see behind me here with a normal human dick, or is it like a dog dick?
Does it transform?
Let's get into it.
Things we talk about in our relationship.
Yep. So if you're not going to answer the question, we'll figure it out later. But I'm just telling.
Was that a question for Kendra?
No, that's a question for you.
We already discussed.
Does Beast have a human dick, or is it like a dog's?
Man,
what's going on?
You have the Matt to bring up fictional dicks, man. I think. Look at the rest of the man's body. Why would it have hair just down there? Like nothing. He doesn't have hair on his back or nothing. He shaves his chest, man. He metrosexual, bro. Like so he like of course he shaves.
Oh, he manscapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the size, look at his feet.
I'm seeing some furage on here. I mean, this is a toy, Steve, so we can't really get clinical with it, but I'm just saying, these are things to think about. And comic book writers and comic book creators, make sure you write this into the lore. We want to know these things eventually. Did Thing have a rock dork? We don't know. We'll never know. So,
but those are some detailed toys, man. They would have shown hair if Beast really had hair, man. I bet if you got the Wolverine toy out, he got a little forearm hair.
You're right. And I'm sorry to sidetrack into some D conversation, Steve. I got my wife here. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry, dude.
Well, Kendra, you weren't here for the one where you talked about little people dicks. Man, that guy playing Leprechaun.
See, Steve, you wonder why you wonder where this is coming from? I got this lady just encouraging D conversations constantly. Does a small person have a normal dick?
You know, the one that spark all of this?
Is Big Sean big? I don't know, Steve, but somebody's gonna tell you. So, it is what it is.
But anyway, this was a good episode.
So 90s. Yeah, this X-Men episode, though, I was worried because it's Xavier-centric, which usually to me means a snooze fest. I enjoyed this. I like this.
I thought Jean Grey was definitely going to get sucked into the portal. I was nervous.
They can't. They got to do Dark Phoenix saga again. She's eventually going to be a villain. So that's the only way that character, she was to me the dumbest of characters. They had a duplicate character that was a hot chick that they were like, what else do we do? We're not going to kill Xavier. So I guess she becomes the Phoenix. I don't know. We got to make her bad.
She couldn't even run the interference, man. You had one job, Jean Grey. I prefer the rapper anyways. But in 1999, Mobb Deep releases Murder Music. And this is the one that has Quiet Storm and the Quiet Storm remix with Lil' Kim. And this is one of my favorite Lil' Kim songs, man. I think like we've had this playing in the dorm back in the day a couple times, man. But Mobb Deep is a group that I didn't latch on until like it was kind of too late. Like when they were releasing these classic albums, man, I wasn't really checking for them like that. And shame on me. I think this is when I was in my Wu-Tang phase. If it wasn't Wu-Tang, I wasn't trying to hear shit.
I came into Mobb Deep. I think they eventually signed with G Unit, and that's when I listened to them and then went back a little bit. But yeah, I came in late, and I do know they're well respected. And I just like the name too. It's just like cool sounding. It's good marketing, and these guys, these are some young go-hards at the time, Steve. Some young go-hards.
The Young Gohards, yeah, man. I wasn't expecting that one, but yeah, let's roll with it. Some Young Gohards,
You
and
go
like
hard.
some young Gohars, adding that to the Websters, and I like their style, man. Like it's like how Jada Kiss and Styles, how they kind of go like off and on. Like one they'll share bars. Like one will do like 4 bars, and then like right after that, there's no chorus in between. I always appreciate that when duos do that, man. Oh, another duo like that, Outcast, man.
Hell yeah.
To me, probably you could probably say the greatest duo in all of this, man. But another great duo in '99 released an album, Naughty by Nature. They dropped 1999, Nature's Fury. And I like earlier '90s Naughty by Nature. They're probably top 5 duos of the '90s for me. And this is the one that has "I'm a jam and I'm a jam jam jamboree and a jam and jam jam." That shit, dude, it jams though. It jams. It's got vibes. This is a track you put on when you got people over. I'm a jam jam.
I don't remember late '90s Naughty by Nature. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah. Do you have a top 5? Because I know you're big on lists too, Kendra. Do you have a top 5 hip hop duos? No. Well.
Hip hop is not my forte. I would probably just say Outcast though. Thinking like Salt and Pepper.
Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Okay, Nate Dogg. Yeah, no, not top 5 for hip hop, and maybe I could do 2000s hip hop songs if you give me a minute, or just songs, but not particularly individuals, because I was more of a Backstreet Boy, Hanson, Spice Girl type of kid.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I asked the wrong genre. But did you mess with New Kids on the Block? Because they had some jams.
No.
Don't judge me,
No.
Matt.
I mean, they did have some jams, Steve. I'm not.
Yeah, they're fine. I thank them for their boy band service, but they're not my boy band. When they toured with Backstreet Boys, I admittedly sat down through most of their sets, except for when the hits came on.
I have one question to you, Steve. Do you think New Edition is a boy band?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the reason there is New Kids. Like the guy who made New Kids saw what New Edition did, and he's like, I'm gonna make that, but market it to white children, and so that's why. If you know your boy band history,
He even used the word new. He's like new something, not New Edition. New kids. Yep.
Maurice Starr. That's the guy who did like the choreography for him, and he kind of helped manage and all of that. And I mean, they're based from the same area. They're both from the Boston market.
Dwani, get on stage. Dwani, was Marky Mark part of the New Kids ever? Or was he just because I know that one song he had, Donnie like sort of produced it and helped to get Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch out, but I thought maybe there was like a crossover. I'm speaking out of turn though.
No, he wasn't
Marky Mark. He had to discover his own drip in a John Cena way.
Okay, got it. Well,
but Donnie and Joey and Jordan and all of them, they walked so that Timberlake and Joey Fat One could run.
Call me Donnie.
Well,
call me Joey.
Could stroll. Fatone could stroll. We'll say that.
But you know who probably didn't listen to Mobb Deep or Naughty by Nature on April 27, 1999? Kendra Matthew. Probably American trumpet player and band leader Al Hurt.
Okay.
Want a quick buzz?
Can't walk on one leg, bud. It's not that Hurt. Al Hurt, trumpet player, Steve?
Trumpet player, man. And he's pretty jazzy. He's got some hits, man. He was that dude in his heyday. And he passed away in 1999, man. And we got to ask a buddy of ours if he's any relation. Hey.
I mean, he looks like Dom DeLuise. Is that Dom DeLuise? I think you might have gotten the wrong Google image, Steve. That's Dom DeLuise, dude.
That's Al Hurt. Man, put some respect on Al Hurt's name, man. They put a hurting on you.
Well, shit, Steve.
Oh, Kendra Matthew, any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
Well, I'm going to just call back to Kendra real quick. Kendra, we have some popcorn interview questions that we like to ask our guests.
Wonder what they are.
Yeah, you've never even heard of this. You've never seen these questions. You didn't help create these questions, certainly. So I'm going to just ask for you to give me a number, and then I'm going to ask you a corresponding question. We'll do a couple of these, and then we'll head out.
Alrighty. 16.
16. Oh, wow. Who is your go-to in Mario Kart on Super Nintendo?
Kirby? Was he one of the
No.
He's always my go-to with any Mario. I'd probably pick like Yoshi. I didn't like any of the people. I never liked the people characters. I always liked the little weird side characters.
I think Super Nintendo, it was Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Bowser, and Yoshi.
So I'd probably go Yoshi, but I was a Sega kid, so I didn't play Nintendo too much growing up. My friend had it, but he would always hog the controllers, and I would just watch him play. So it was kind of
I did that a lot when I would have people over. I'd be like, yeah, let me get one in first. And then, you know.
My older brother had a Super Nintendo, but he was like, you're going to break it if you play. And I'm like, isn't it a toy? Like, you're.
Damn.
Yeah. So I got my own Sega, and I was happy with that.
That was actually my first 16-bit system. I had a regular Nintendo, jumped to Sega, then went back to Nintendo and got the Super Nintendo later. So I was spoiled.
Same.
Steve, who about you? Mario Kart character. Who's your go-to between those ones that I said? I was a Yoshi person. That was the most fastest one, so that was my guy.
I would tend to go to Luigi for just about anything Mario related. I felt like he was better. Like, why is this Mario show? Like, he's the taller one. He's got longer legs. He can like leap over.
He's in shape. You know, he's not fat.
Yeah, he's lean. Like, why is it the pudgy guy? Like, does he make the better sauce in the family or some shit? What the fuck?
Also, in the movie, if you've seen the Super Mario Brothers movie that just came out, Mario was kind of like the lamest character in the movie to me. I thought every other character shined, and he was kind of just there for me.
That's all he is. He's just the guy. He's the first one. He's the firstborn, so he takes all the shine.
It's like, why is this Corey show? We all came to see Sean. He's cooler. Like, it's kind of like that. Like, why is this boy? Why is it about him meeting the world? Like, what about his boy? Like, what about the boy's boy? Like, he's cooler. Where's his spinoff show? The boy's boy meet the world.
Can't have a show about a kid smoking cigarettes and skipping school, Steve. He's too cool.
They should have. They should have. Like, I want to see him in what is it, Farmer Fran? Like, his dad was cooler. Corey's dad was racist in American History X.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. What the hell?
Alan would never. He was an honest grocery store worker.
He has an alternative life.
Working at a grocery store, he had the nicest house.
Yeah, I love that. I love people working awful ass jobs that got a 3-story house.
Only in the 90s. You could be a shoe salesman and have a house in Chicago.
Yep. All right, Kendra. So great. We're going to do one more and then we'll call it. Okay? Call this one.
36. Because that's what I will be soon.
Yeah. Monday. Happy birthday.
Happy early birthday, Kendra.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I like this one. This is a great one. Why do you think soda tasted better in the red cups at Pizza Hut?
I think it has something to do with the ripples in the cup. It holds the bubbles better, maybe. And I don't know, it's that plastic cup just tastes, it's like, I don't know. Did you ever have a favorite cup growing up where like drinks just tasted better in that cup?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, that's, I think, mental psyche. You just get attached to the vessel and it makes it better. Mine was a glass Coca-Cola cup. I swear, Kool-Aid lemonade tastes way better in that.
Mine was the Dream Team McDonald's Biggie size cup that was like 32 ounces, but it had, it was just like it was not cartoony. It was kind of realistic, but it was like an action shot of Michael Jordan. They had all the Dream Team, but mine was the MJ cup. That and the Larry Bird cup, those two. Steve, what was your
Steve's
go-to
favorite cup.
cup?
I had a Dream Team cup. I don't remember which player. It might have been Mike, but that and we always had this McDonald's Garfield mug.
Mm.
Hell yeah. I still have that, I think. I think I still got that in my mom's.
Classic.
I'm going to speak on the taste part of the question, though, that goes along with the red cup that people don't realize I think is very important in the old Pizza Hut. I haven't eaten at a Pizza Hut in a decade plus, but they had a specific, like, I think it's crushed ice that they would give you at Pizza Hut that's like small chips. And I think that's the way soda tastes best at a restaurant, crushed ice.
The whole ambiance just hit different, man. Like they would give you this sizzling pizza in the hot
Oh
pan.
yeah, that
Like,
shit would, and it would waft. You'd get the waft.
Culinary excellence at its best. Pizza Hut.
God bless. God bless Pizza Hut. I miss him. I miss the bucket, the personal pan pizzas you could get for reading a book, which to a fat kid, giving me the incentive to get a pizza at the end of something, great idea, because I read a shit ton of books because of that.
We got Sizzler coupons.
That's trash. That's some straight
Oh
desert
no,
trash.
if you were student of the month at my school, you got a Sizzler coupon for a free salad bar. And that was when my family went off on Sizzler.
Yeah, but in that same story, she'll tell you that at one point her brother just puked on a plate at
That's
the
like the last
table.
time we went.
Yeah, so
He
that's
puked
also
in
what
my
you
mom's
do.
plate. He purposely, oh, I don't know, he was a bad child. He puked in her plate, and my mom said, "Oh, fuck it, we're going home." And I was like, I got my ice cream.
Man,
I
I've
read
never been
that
to
book.
Sizzler.
You don't need to, Steve. Don't go. You're gonna get food
You've never
poisoning.
been to Sizzler?
I just remember on White Man Can't Jump, Kadeem Hardison's character was like, "We going to Sizzler, we going to Sizzler."
There
That's
is
all I
a
remember.
well, where was that movie set? I wonder what.
Venice.
White
I
Man
think
Can't Jump. That was L.A.
Yeah.
By the Forum, the big venue in LA, there is a Sizzler. And when we were waiting in line at the Forum, there's nowhere to pee except that Sizzler. So it's a hero to me. Before they built the SoFi Stadium and everything back in the day, before it was
Food, not great. Great bathrooms though, because they need them. Because you're gonna be shitting or puking after you eat the food. So
it's still probably the fanciest restaurant where I'm from.
that's what I'm marrying into, Steve. So come to the wedding. You're gonna get a free Sizzler salad bar. That's what you're. That's what you get.
They
I'll
do
manage to
have a
hold it all
banquet
in.
room in the back of ours. It's classy.
Nice. So, wow, what a way to end the episode, Steve. Before we let Kendra go through the propers on her end and give us all the details to where to find her, do you have any just callbacks or honorable mentions to lay on us real quick?
I'm going to just run through this list, man. In 1990, Family Matters airs the episode Rock Video, and the Winslow family, they're spitting bars in this video, this homemade video, and it is cray-cray in a hilarious way. In 91, Golden Girls airs Never Yell Fire in a Crowded Retirement Home. Sophia got fucking arrested. In 92, Blossom, she went to jail. And Blossom is airing Driver's Education in 92. Tiffany Amber Thiessen has a cameo, and she plays Joey's boss, and she's like playing grab ass and everything, and he's like,
what?
That she's definitely not Kelly Kapowski, and it's kind of pretty erotic. I'll watch this 3 more times before I watch Wild Orchid again. And in 95, Living Single is airing Raw Talent. Naughty by Nature, they have a cameo. In 1998. Monday Night Raw. It is the episode where DX invades WCW.
On the tank?
In the tank, man. X-Pac, he just joined. New Age Outlaws just joined. And this is probably my favorite version of DX. I feel like it's the version. When people think of it, they don't really think about that, the 2-man group with China.
No. Nah, that ain't it. I need a Road Dogg and a Mr. Ass in there just to throw. You can take or leave X-Pac. I like Sean Waldman, but I'm the DX. I need 4 at least in DX for me to recognize. So,
but man, you got to understand the value of Sean coming over to WWF because he was in NWO, left, and then he went to WWF and he called out Eric Bischoff in his debut as X-Pac, where he was like, "You could put that in your pipe and smoke it," and like the place went crazy because that was like unheard of at the time when like the other company is getting publicly called out like that. And that was the day after WrestleMania that year, man. So shout out to X-Pac, man. One Night in China. But Kendra B, where can they hear you? Where can they see you?
You can hear me at crushgasmpodcast.com, and you can find Crushgasm on every place you find podcasts. So wherever you're listening to this or watching this, you can watch and listen to Crushgasm. And we have some pretty cool episodes coming up. We have crushes on TV genre. We have crushes on Oscar winners and 80s movies. So they're going to talk about their favorite 80s movies and the crush they have on it. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited for it. I haven't recorded it, but I'm sure it's going to be great because it's a movie I love from the 80s with a lot of amazing crushes in the cast.
And like she's done her theme song too. Great job on that.
Original.
Like,
that came out of her head. The words, the writing, like that was a freestyle, Steve. So this woman
I wrote songs in high school, so yes.
There you go. Multi-talented, multifaceted woman that we're dealing with here. Shout out.
And me and Matt, like we got to get in on that action as far as like the what is it, the March Madness deal, the tournaments that you have,
our network draft, yes.
All the stuff that you named
at 8:45 p.m. So if you're ever free and we have a spot, let me know. I'll try to get you in.
There we go. Open invite.
Because you named some stuff that are a few of our favorite things. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister that we're happening in the 90s, ho. Happening in the 90s, ho. Happening in the 90s, ho. Please check out Crushgasm with Kendra every Wednesday. B3F podcast with Joey and Steve. And don't worry, B movie with Amanda and Wade. This is Steve G, Matt G, Kendra B. That happened in the
90s. Bye.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.